Hey guys, welcome back to my first actual game review since Halo 4, and I am really excited. I'd always intended to review both Spartan Ops and Spartan Assault, but I just never really found the time. I was still figuring out this channel at the time, so I hope my lack of diligence can be forgiven. Now that the format and workload has been properly sorted, let's get back into the game and review this... game. Spartan Strike is the second top-down shooter released as part of a partnership between 343 Industries and Vanguard Games. After the success of Spartan Assault, how could Microsoft not release another? And I'll be honest, I love seeing Halo expand into other game genres. Spartan Strike takes everything that was good about Spartan Assault and improves upon it. This is, in short, a solid sequel. While I do have issues with some of the vehicle controls and the lack of custom key mapping, overall the game is spectacular. Of course, if you're on my channel, you're not looking for a standard game review, you want to know about the story more than anything, and I definitely plan to deliver. This is Halo Spartan Strike. The game opens much like Spartan Assault, introducing the player to the concept of the UNSC Tactical Simulator. I don't know if I've said this before, but I'm a huge fan of games that frame themselves as being a part of the universe. Halo Reach and the Master Chief Collection being interactive records, and the Spartan games being literal games that Spartan 4s play. It adds an extra layer of depth that helps mute the sometimes immersion-breaking effects of score screens. I'm not me playing the game, I am a Spartan playing the game. Anyway, the story starts in 2552 during the Battle of New Mombasa. The portal wasn't the only thing the Covenant were hunting that day. Somewhere in the city was an artifact called the Conduit. Historically, a squad of ODSTs was sent in, but for the simulation, you play a lone Spartan. The game itself starts you out with a very hand-holdy tutorial, which is kind of sad considering SA let you figure things out on your own. It trusted you were smart enough to naturally feel the game out. Spartan Strike does not, and worse, you're directly told everything by a UNSC officer who will direct you for the rest of the game. While it seems she was meant to be a very Cortana-like presence, I found myself immediately turned off by her constant interruptions. But back to the story. Over the course of the 6 missions that make up Operation A, you hunt down and retrieve the Conduit, a Forerunner artifact of unknown origin or purpose. And while the latter is a major part of the game's story, you never really learn about the former. The levels in New Mombasa are a lot of fun and contain some awesome references to Halo 2, notably seeing Johnson's Pelican as it delivers a tank to the Master Chief, and later seeing the Chief blast his way into the city's center. Minor canon inaccuracies aside, it's a nice nod to a classic game and helps ground the events of Spartan Strike, at least during these sections. Later in the game, you do encounter another Spartan, one we would assume to be the Master Chief. Of course, the Spartan's placement doesn't make any sense unless 343 is planning to shoehorn in missions/events that were never experienced during Halo 2. The only other obvious option, at least to me, is that the Spartan is in fact Will 043, the 5th known surviving Spartan 2 at this point in time. His absence was certainly noted by fans in the Halo 2 Anniversary Terminal Prologue, and this would make a suitable explanation for his absence during the UNSC's debriefing of Blue Team. That's not to say I'm excusing 343 for leaving Will out, but it would at least account for his absence. Moving forward, the first operation comes to a close with the Spartan working to get the Conduit to a Pelican so it can be moved to an ONI facility in New Phoenix. Shoehorned in connection to major events from other games? Check! But seriously, while the connection to New Phoenix does seem to pop up out of nowhere, the game does pay off this mention. Still, the way that New Phoenix is brought up, it feels very ham-fisted. So the Spartan tries to get the Conduit out of the city, but his ride is shot down and Regret makes his jump before another transport can get to the Spartan. In the canon, the ODSTs who were transporting the Conduit died in the slipspace blast, and as we learned later, the Conduit made an emergency slipspace jump to save itself. The story jumps forward to 2557 as the Conduit's signal is suddenly picked up by Infinity and a Spartan 4 lone wolf headhunter is sent to retrieve it. And where's the Conduit after all these years? Well, if you thought the New Phoenix reference was a stretch, wait until you hear this. Installation 03. No joke, the Forerunner artifact that disappeared following the opening of the Battle of Earth reappears 5 years later on Installation 0-3. What are the goddamn chances? It could have appeared anywhere else in the goddamn galaxy, but it appears on the most fucking contrived of Halo rings. No, seriously, this ring in particular is about as contrived as they come. Want to know how it was found? A human freighter fleeing the Battle of Tribute in August of 2552 made a random slipspace jump and stumbled upon it when it re-emerged a month later. I wish I were joking. At least Installation 04 was found because Cortana secretly entered coordinates found on a Forerunner artifact, and while Delta Halo was even more contrived at the time of Halo 2's release, we do now have a solid explanation for its seemingly random discovery. Installation 03? Nope, some fleeing humans lucked upon it. And now, in 2557, a missing Forerunner artifact of unknown power just pops in out of the blue. So anyway, the Orange Spartan once again takes the leading role and is deployed to Installation 03. He starts his search for the Conduit, soon coming across Prometheans, and don't worry, we'll talk about their presence a little later. So the Spartan chases after the Conduit, killing a bunch of Prometheans and Covenant along the way. Although the Spartan does recover the Conduit, it's ultimately too late. The Prometheans and Covenant were able to activate portals across the galaxy, including one in New Phoenix where some Oni scientists were studying another Forerunner artifact. Now you see how that New Phoenix reference from earlier paid off. The Spartan makes a desperate run to Earth, presumably with Infinity's help. Once there, shit gets real as Covenant and Promethean forces work to secure the Conduit and the other Forerunner artifact. To keep things short, you engage in a series of escort and stop and defend missions that ultimately amount to the Spartan shutting down the Forerunner portal device and saving New Phoenix. Again. We get a nice closing cinematic, and if you get gold ratings on every mission, you unlock the final operation. Now, the cinematic here seems to imply that you'll be playing a series of missions simulating Promethean invasion scenarios on other colonies, but don't be deceived. Operation E further expands on the events of the first 4 operations, starting by once again dropping you into New Mombasa during the Battle of Earth, and once again in place of an ODST squad. I guess those colony simulations are going to be for DLC. Either that or it's going to play into Halo 5 somehow. The first 2 missions in Operation E are spent hunting down a set of Forerunner glyphs before Regret again runs away. After a couple missions in New Mombasa, we once again jump forward to 2557, again taking on the role of a Spartan 4 headhunter on Gamma Halo. Amazingly, the UNSC seems to have decoded the glyphs just as the Conduit was discovered on the ring. I'm sure it could be argued, and hell may have even been the case, that the 2 events were directly connected, but it's never stated in the game. Anyway, the Spartan is deployed to Gamma Halo and goes to work cleaning out a zone to establish a forward operation base. Afterwards, you set out to find where the glyphs lead. Turns out they lead to a Forerunner device that's opening portals to New Phoenix. After preventing some Covenant and Promethean forces from accessing these particular portals, the Spartan goes through. Once in New Phoenix, you're tasked with defending the Oni building while another Spartan, the one you played during the first 4 operations, shuts the portal down. Yeah, that other Spartan somehow made it to Earth before you despite using Forerunner portals. Go figure. Anyway, you ultimately succeed and both Spartans are extracted from New Phoenix. The end. So that's Spartan Strike. Overall, it's actually a pretty fun story, but now without some serious plot holes. While the New Mombasa sections fit in pretty well with established canon, the Gamma Halo and New Phoenix stuff leave lore fans with more questions than answers. Notably, where do these events fit in, especially in relation to Halo 4? Operation B starts by establishing that it was Infinity that picked up the Conduit signal in 2557. Given that we encounter Prometheans, this must take place right after Halo 4. But of course there's another problem, Installation 03 itself. If you recall, during the next 72 hours, the Didact moved Installation 03 into orbit around the Composer's Forge, i.e. not the location it's constantly depicted at throughout Spartan Strike. Now, the ring isn't moved until at least 24 hours after Halo 4 ends on July 26th. Further, it's stated in Spartan Strike that the Headhunter team helped avoid another incident at New Phoenix, meaning that the New Phoenix incident seen in Halo 4 had already happened. So what does this all mean? Simply, either on July 25th or 26th, Infinity returned to Gamma Halo and picked up the Conduit's energy signature. Interesting to note, we never actually saw how Blue Team got to Gamma Halo, the comics seeming to imply that they had a longsword with slipspace capability. Infinity escorting Blue Team makes a bit of sense. So presumably, while Blue Team's doing their thing, the Conduit is detected and a pair of headhunters are set out on a different mission to help secure the artifact. In the short time before the Didact moves Installation 03, these headhunters take on Covenant and Promethean forces and get to New Phoenix just as the Covenant/Promethean invasion begins. And within that same time frame, Oni has sent in a new team of scientists to continue studying a Forerunner device that was already there, along with a huge Oni security force to protect them. It's a really tight time frame and doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but there you go. Spartan Strike is a vast improvement over Spartan Assault in almost every way, but is not without drawbacks. In the end, I have to give it a 7 out of 10. Average. The game, for a mobile game, is definitely worth what you pay, and I would recommend it to any Halo fan. Well, thank you for waiting, and thank you much more for watching. This has been Halo Canon. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribing, and sharing it around. You are the reason I get to keep doing this, so thank you. Profusely thank you. If you want to dive deeper into Halo's lore, head over to the Halo Archive. It's a lore-based community that welcomes everyone from experts to rookies. No matter what your working knowledge, you'll be sure to find a friend and a good time.